Hello, this is Lydia Scott from lydiascott.com or rainbowgates.com. That's Lydia with an LYDIASCOTT.com. And I am a therapist, but I'm also a person who is pursuing a theological doctorate at this time. That's where my interest lies in combining spirituality with psychology. Right now I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can change or make void any kind of traumatic past you might have. If you accept a miracle into your life, and a miracle is something where you get an insight into some way of forgiving somebody, or you have healing, physical healing, which can include mental healing, emotional healing, that resulted from something in your past that was traumatic. You would essentially void that past. So, if we have, for instance, a timeline where you are, this is your present right here, this is your past, and here's your future. And so you're in your past right back here with some kind of traumatic event or events, and it's affected your life up to this point. But you find that you have a miracle that has changed your way of living, your life, and you're now free of the effects from your past. You have maybe a miracle is something that would have occurred maybe 10 years in the future, maybe in your next lifetime, maybe 1,000 years from now. But instead, a miracle occurred and you got it now instead of the next lifetime or 60 years down the road, let's say. So you got something today and that you would have gotten in the future. What you have done is collapsed all that learning time that it would have taken to get that one idea, all the things that you would have had to have gone through. You've now made it completely unnecessary to go through all those other events by accepting a miracle into your life. Now, from this point back, the events from that were traumatic or were at least a hindrance in your life. Maybe you just weren't supported as a child to reach your fullest potential. But now all that's changed. So all the effects from that incident have been, and all the related stuff with it, have been made null and void. Because they have no effect on you today. They have no effect. Interestingly, I didn't even think about it, but it brings you back to now, doesn't it? And kind of an interesting way of symbolizing that. So, if you can void time in the future that it took to learn or to be healed of something, and you've reached your higher self, you've become more your actualized self, and all this stuff from your past is also that thing that was traumatizing has essentially been made null and void. You kind of can reach back to the place where, if you reach back beyond all the trauma, all the lives, all the things that happen here in this 3D world, and you reach back to that place, you collapse time essentially from that place that we were before we got here, and that is home. That's where we started, that's where we were purely whole. And so you're collapsing time backwards and forward when you accept that miracle. That's why it's so important to have miracles going on in your life regularly. If they're not happening regularly, then something's wrong. So miracles are what will collapse time and till we get to the end of time, so we can learn all these fun lessons that we're supposed to be learning of our own free will. And the free will is not in whether we're going to take those lessons or not. That's not what the free will is for. It is when we will take them. That's the only question. And so, because we all have to learn the same lessons, that's why we're here, and that's why we've forgotten that we're at home, really. We've fallen asleep. Another video. So anyway, what you want to do is collapse time, collapse time, collapse time. And that's how we're going to get to a better place. And if you find that you have reached this wonderful place of blissful living, you know that you're getting very close to home. This is the ascension process. So anyway, if you want to know more about creating miracles daily and living on miracles, living with miracles, depending on them, and expecting them and just accepting that they're there regularly, you want to learn how to do that, you can visit rainbowgates.com or lydiascott.com for more information. Have a great day and a great life.